darkness tries to roll over my bones, when sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, when brokenness and pain is all I know, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. She no longer has a place to hide. I am not captive to the lies. I'm not afraid to leave my past behind. Oh, I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. 'Cause my fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. Oh, I'm standing. There's power that can break off every chain.
Welcome to 613. This is a very important time for us to focus our attention on praying for things around the world. I want to keep encouraging you to check out unite714.com. It's a website where there are literally millions of followers of Jesus in countries all around the globe that are praying the same prayer all week. It's something that'd be good for you to do. It's something I've been doing, and we want to make sure that that's a part of our focus as we pray for COVID to diminish and everything to return to normal. I'm here today with Drew Hynson. He is our pastor over our children, and we're excited to get to know you.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah. And let me just start with a prayer, and then we'll jump into your story and where we want to go today, encouraging the people in our church to connect in every way we can to serve our kids, serve our community, and see what God can do through us.
Yeah.
So God, we just trust you today for this moment in time. We do agree with people all around the world that are praying for COVID to come down and for this virus to flee. You are the God of healing, and you are a God of miracles. You can cause plagues to just be eliminated, and we pray for that. We ask you, Lord, for a divine miracle to bring this down, to help our communities here all around the world to be able to return to business, to functioning, church, to have church. We believe, Lord, for your grace to rest upon us in all that we do, and even in these times of disruption, that we will grow and that you will work in us to become all you want us to be. I pray over our conversation today. Be with Drew and I as we share. Give us just a freedom and a flow, and your spirit would speak through us. We believe for that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I think even talking like this really is offered as a prayer. God hears, and he's taking the things that we say to, in his heart. And I think this conversation matters in how others could receive it. So it's part of how I look at even what we're doing here. It still has a spiritual depth to it. But to get acquainted, you have grown up here.
Yes.
Give us the start. You were born in Sacramento?
Yeah, born in Sacramento. My parents initially, they lived in Delaware.
Okay.
They got married, moved to New Jersey. My dad was working for Aerojet.
Yeah.
Then transferred out here, and the goal was he was just going to be out here for 5 years.
Nice.
But that California weather, it was too much. You know, it was too good to say no to. So
Right.
he ended up staying out here and had a couple more kids, bought a house. And my dad, he grew up in the church,
Yeah.
and he initially was looking for a different church. He happened to go to a church, and he told me everybody was rude there. And,
really?
Yeah, they like came in as visitors. Nobody greeted them or anything like that. So he ended up coming to Capitol, getting plugged in the 80s, and
Love it.
turned over his life to God. And
Yeah.
the rest is history. We've
Yeah.
been here ever since.
Do you know what hospital you were born in?
Kaiser Morris.
Okay.
Kaiser Morris.
We know where that's at, right?
Yeah, have you been over there lately?
Not lately.
Yeah, yeah.
I should
It's
stop
a good,
by.
yeah. He stopped by, reminisce.
Yeah.
Every now and then I just go look. That's where I was.
Yeah, that's where I was started.
Yeah,
And it's still here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Your dad was quite remarkable too in his involvement in the church. He had a heart to serve. Music was a huge thing for him, and he was really talented at that. And got involved even as a board member in the church, served in that way, so his leadership was obvious and well received. I know he passed. How long ago?
It was actually 2 years ago, just like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years it's been.
Does that still feel kind of fresh to you? It's
Oh,
kind of,
wow.
I know I've gone through a similar
Yeah.
experience, but I don't know. It's hard sometimes to describe it.
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing now is it's just as you go through life and new events are happening. Like since he's been gone, I've had 2 more kids, and the one that was born right after he passed is almost 2 years old now. So you see them growing up, and then you think about, oh man, I wish my dad was around to see this, and technically, the way I see it is, his influence and what he instilled in my life and my mom, sister, brother's life, that lives on. So he's not
sure.
here, but his influence and what he meant to all of us, that part is still with us. So, I mean, that's what we have to hang on to, and
sure. I think I
looking forward
saw
again
a
to see him.
picture of him on social media. Was this like an anniversary of something recently? There was something
Oh,
that
yeah. It was his 2-year anniversary. He had just passed.
Oh, just
so
passing, yeah.
I posted some stuff. My brother
Okay.
posted stuff. My mom did
Yeah.
as well. So, just
keep it alive,
Yeah,
right?
keeping the
memory.
alive. It's a weird thing,
is.
It's weird. It's
It
hard to
is, yeah.
grasp,
Yeah. I find that I think of heaven a little differently since my dad passed. Like it seems more, I mean, it's always like this concept out there that you believe in and stuff. It feels a little more real to me, a little more tangible.
Yeah.
Like I really believe, I know that's where he's at and I'm heading there someday.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of heaven in a more, I don't know, beautiful kind of a way.
Yeah.
It takes on a different beauty to me, having someone that close to me that is there.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things that it's done for me is, obviously, from the time I was a kid, I've heard about heaven and always wanted to go. But now, like that, my dad is there. Like the anticipation for going there is that much more. So, I think about reuniting with him and being able to hug
cool.
and talk to him, and I look forward to it. So, yeah.
I kind of suspect our dads are kind of chumming it up.
Hanging out, yeah. Maybe they're out there golfing.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
Your mom also served here. She was involved in administration at the school.
Yeah.
A long career of that.
Yeah, I think she was the vice principal of elementary for close to, I want to say like 15 years. And then maybe 19 or 20 years, she was a 4th grade teacher as well. So,
Wow.
yeah, she put a lot of time here
Yeah.
at Capitol.
And so did you, right? You
Yes.
went to the school?
Yeah, I went here for preschool, and then when my mom had my sister, she stayed home with her, and then I went to another school. And then in 5th grade, I came back, and I stayed from 5th grade all the way till I graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching you playing basketball. Were you here during the Carpet Palace days?
Yeah. I still got rug burns to show for it.
You went and played in college some too, right?
Yeah, then I ended up, I was on the team in college. I
Oh, come on.
didn't play too much.
That's the coach's fault.
Yeah, that's the coach's fault, man. Shout out to Coach Hynson, but that guy. So yeah, I didn't play too much, but the bonds and the friendships that I made with the players has been something that even today I still talk with a lot of those guys.
That's cool.
That's been great.
Yeah. You had a call to ministry of sorts? Do you
Yeah.
remember, like, how did that develop for you?
Yeah, you know what's funny is, man, when I was in junior high, my youth pastor at the time, like around 8th grade, he told me, like, hey, you know what? I think you should be, a pastor. I feel like you have a calling in your life, and you know the way you've talked and how you interact with people. There's definitely a call of God in your life. And at that time, I didn't want to be a pastor. I never thought about it. I figured I was going to be an NBA player, and if
Right.
that didn't work, my backup plan would be a movie star.
There you
Just
go.
something
Yeah.
real achievable. But
Yeah.
as working with him, and as I got a little bit older, the call to ministry is something that I really started pursuing. Like, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I think he may have seen something. There may be something there. When I was in 10th grade, we went away to a winter camp, and at the time, the speaker was Gary Zaleski.
Yeah.
And Gary Zaleski, he was operating in the gift of prophecy. And I was actually sitting with Caleb,
Yeah.
your nephew, and Nathan. So it was like Caleb was on one side, I was in the middle, Nathan was next to me. And like Gary, he started like prophesying, and he was going down the row, and he was prophesying over my friends and saying stuff. And then when he got to me, he like skipped over me and went on to Nate.
Really?
And I was like, wait a second.
What happened?
What happened? So I remember being like real hurt by it, and then that happened like on a Friday night. Saturday we were at the camp for another day. We ended up coming back Saturday night. It was late. I slept in a little bit. Ended up getting to church a little later, and at the time on I guess it would be the far left side of the sanctuary. That's where all the youth would sit. Everyone sat over there. So I went to go sit with the youth. And because I got there late, my whole row was full. And I was like, you know what? God didn't prophesy over me. He didn't even save me a spot at church. I'm going to walk to Carl's Jr. At the time, they had it was 25-cent pancakes. So I can go there,
Nice.
get some pancakes. And as I was getting ready to leave, a random guy was like, hey, I have a seat here. And I was like, okay. Well, I ended up sitting by this guy, and he was trying to be all like friendly and nice. And as he was asking me questions and stuff like that, we were kind of talking. He was like, well, what do you want to do when you get older? And I was like, well, up until this weekend, I wanted to be a pastor, but now at this point, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work anymore. I'll probably just have to be an NBA star or something. And he's like, you know what? God actually told me to stop you. He wanted me
Really?
to talk to you. He still has a call on your life. I actually am a pastor. I work with athletes. He worked with players. He actually told me that he had led Magic Johnson to Christ, and he got my information, and weeks later he sent me Magic Johnson a picture of Magic holding the track, and the guy just prophesied, and the stuff that I was looking for at camp, what I wanted God to say to me in front of all my friends so that everyone else knew about this call. He didn't do it there. He actually did it in a one-on-one situation with me and a guy, and it's something that I've never forgot about, and that
crazy.
kind of powered me forward into what I'm doing today.
Right. You went to Bible school
Yes.
in Springfield?
Yep. Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah. Did you go the whole season there? 4 years?
Yeah. Well, I went to Northwest for a year
Okay.
in Washington,
Yep.
and Northwest was great, but I didn't realize how much it rained in the Northwest. I mean, you're from the Northwest. You
Oh
get
man,
it.
yeah, I totally
Oh
understand
man,
that.
the rain up there is terrible, and like I got real depressed, and when it got sunny in the second semester, like I was outside all the time, going down to Lake Washington, not going to class,
Yeah.
and I ended up like basically failing out of school.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "We're not sending you up there to school for you not to be messing around. You need to go switch." And at the time, one of my good friends, Daniel Matsunaga, he was at CBC in Missouri already. And that's actually your dad's alma mater.
Right.
So he used to come out there all the time. We'd see
Yeah.
him a couple of times a year. So I ended up transferring out to Missouri. And I liked it. I liked
That's
CBC.
cool, yeah.
Definitely a culture shock.
Right.
So much different than California. So that took a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
But I ended up graduating from there.
Yeah. You went into ministry after Bible school?
Yeah. I remember the very last week of school. I'm talking to my different friends, and everybody has like jobs lined up, and I have nothing lined up. It was like nobody wanted me, right? So I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. And I told my mom like some of my concerns, that I didn't have any job lined up. and she randomly went to a McDonald's, and at the McDonald's she bumped into Donnie Burleson.
Yeah.
And Donnie was a youth pastor at the time, and they started talking, and I came up in the conversation, and my mom mentioned, hey, Drew needs a place to serve, he needs a place to help out at, and Donnie was like, have him call me when he gets back into town. So that's what I did. I called him and started helping out with him. Then I also was helping out with another church, and I was helping out here. So I was working like volunteering at 3 different churches.
Right.
That lasted for the summer, and it's impossible to do. So
Right, yeah.
ended up staying with Donnie, and I worked with him for about 1.5 years, and learned a lot. Him and Pastor Eddie Rentz. It was a great
Oh,
experience.
that's awesome. You had another season at Grace Community, right?
Yeah.
Locally here. And then we connected again, had some needs in our ministry, and that door opened for you to join us.
Yeah.
We're still thrilled that happened.
Yeah.
How long ago has that been now?
5 years this October.
Okay.
This is my 5-year anniversary.
Right.
And, it's like a dream come true every
Yeah.
day. I never thought I'd be back working here at Capitol, but I love it.
Well, we're blessed because of it.
Hey, thank you.
Then you were serving with Jody and Missy as lead, and you were serving on the team, and they made a transition, and you stepped in to lead.
Yeah.
So all things, in God's plan, now you have the key leadership, and I keep seeing amazing things that, in my view, that you do with creativity during this COVID season.
thank you.
It's all such a disruption, but you keep finding ways to impact the kids and plan events. One coming up here for Halloween.
Yeah, definitely.
That'll
Yes.
be awesome.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. I think like one of the biggest challenge is in September we did a drive-through ice cream event, and we had a super good turnout. Before the event started, we actually had like a line of cars, people who were ready, 10, 15 minutes before the event started to come through.
Right.
And I mean, it wasn't for the ice cream. I mean, the ice cream was good, but I think what people are really missing during this time is community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so to be able to offer something where people can come out and see the Capitol Kids staff, and get a little bit of ice cream on top of it, I mean, that's a win. So that event ended up going so well, and as I was talking to parents that drove through, community and connection, that was the key. That's what they are missing. So I went back with the team, and I was thinking, like, what can we do? How can we do something? Every year, actually, Capitol, one of the cool things about Capitol is at Halloween, every single year, Capitol does something to further the message of Jesus Christ during this time.
Yeah.
For years and years, it was the family fun fair. I remember being a kid and going to those. My mom and dad, we wouldn't go trick-or-treating. They didn't want us out there trick-or-treating, but we had something. We had an alternative. A couple years ago, we transitioned from doing the family fun fair to doing the in-house carnival for the kids, where every year at that time, we're getting hundreds of kids, hundreds of families on our campus, hearing about Jesus, experiencing Capitol culture, and those have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this year we had everything lined up to do that.
Right.
COVID kind of throws a wrench in it. We're not able to do that on campus, so we came up with the idea of doing a drive-through event where families can come on our campus. They still get a personal connection. It's going to be an interactive event as well, and they get to experience something good during a time where there's a lot of just negative and bad going on.
Right.
We're going to share the love of Jesus with everybody who comes through, and the goal is to make that connection with people, make that connection with families, to serve this community. And then when we are able to open up, when some of these restrictions get lifted, those people who came through, they know they have a home, they have a place where they could be. And,
That's good.
Yeah, so we've been planning a lot for it. The 31st, October 31st. It's going to be from 4 to 6 right here on our campus.
Yeah.
Little drive-through event. Lane's helping me out a lot.
Are there any serve opportunities with that at all?
Oh, yeah, definitely. One of the things I want to let people know is that if they are interested in serving at all, there is a website. There's a link that they can go to. If they go on our church's website, they can find a link where they can volunteer. There's a couple of different serve days. We are going to have a day where we're painting boxes. There's going to be another day where we're stuffing candy, at the end of the drive-through route. Everybody who goes through it is going to get candy, and it's going to be in a safe pre-packaged bag. But we need to stuff all of those bags, a couple of hundred of them. So that's an opportunity to serve.
Right.
Then on the actual day, we're going to need people in costume. We're going to need people helping direct traffic. We're going to need people there greeting. We're going to need people to distribute those candy bags at the end. So there's plenty of opportunities to serve. And if you click on the link, find the link on our website, you can actually open it up and you can see what area that you can serve in. So, you know,
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have a preference of where you serve, but, you know, just serve.
Find a
Just help us
spot,
out.
yeah.
Lots of opportunity.
Tell me a little bit about your family, your wife, your children. When did you meet your wife?
Oh, actually, I met my wife. I was here doing a chapel service for elementary. My mom, as the vice principal, she was also the head of scheduling chapel speakers. So if anybody flaked or if she needed someone, it was kind of like, hey, Drew, I need you. So I came here, I did the chapel service, and Alicia saw me, and then she asked one of my friends about me who, you know, ended up hooking us up, like, you know, getting us to exchange numbers. And one day after school, towards the end of school, I went to her classroom, and
She was teaching.
yeah, she was teaching. She was a second grade teacher.
Okay.
So I was there, and I sat and talked.
New to that, wasn't she, at the time?
Yeah, very new. Her first year. She had
Okay.
moved up from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So I get in the classroom, and we're talking during one of her breaks. Well, then all the kids come in, and they're like, oh, Pastor Drew is here.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Well, you know, I was like, I'm trying to find my wife. No, I didn't hold that information. I held that information from but like she gave me assignments to do. Like she had me like stapling papers, and that should have been a sign because that has been a common trend.
You're still doing that.
Still doing assignments for her, right? So we ended up talking that whole time. Then a couple of weeks later, we went to a Kings game. Had tickets to a Kings game. I was so nervous. I didn't even buy her food. We just sat there and talked the whole time.
Yeah.
She was starving, but I ended up getting another date, and and it was just easy the whole
That's
time.
cool.
So
Yeah. Now you have children.
Yes, we've been married 4 years, and we have 3 boys right now. So Grayson is my middle child. He's going to be 2 in a couple of weeks. Trey is my oldest child. He's 3, turned 3 this summer. And then Caden is the baby, and I think he's like 7 months old.
Yeah.
I think.
Close.
The quarantine, man,
Close
it's
to that.
messing me up. Yeah.
So it's like one right after the other. You're
Kept them close.
busy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy in your house.
Yeah. It is. It's nuts it's nuts every day. It's like WrestleMania, and I'm being the referee, and you know, trying to instill good values in these kids, and you know, just doing my best, hoping that it's going well. So
One of the things I was curious about when we got into this whole COVID season, and then the racial challenges just blew up in our face and became such a huge, still is, a massive issue in our country and in our relationship. And our church has really grown in diversity. So one of the things I think is really special is that you grew up here, and so this is a very familiar environment to you and for you. I think almost in that, I've thought of you as such a part of our team and our church family and fabric that I think we sometimes lose sight of the impact that things have in people's lives. And because of your ethnicity, I was curious how some of these things affect you, or what's it been like even for you growing up as a person of color in this community? Did you ever experience people treating you differently than others?
yeah, I think with growing up, like one of the things, like I had a unique opportunity at Capitol because I went to church here and I went to school here. All my friends were here, social, everything was here. So the impact that Capitol had on me is something that I wouldn't change at all. And the fact that my kids now get to grow up the way I grew up, I look forward to that. Growing up, like when you look at Capitol now, especially in the school and in the church, it is so much more diverse than when I was going here. It's cool to see. I think it's a reflection of heaven, and I think it's a reflection of what God, wants and intends for us. When I was at Capitol, when I was here in California, I didn't really experience like like blatant racism a lot, where people just didn't like me because I was black. I think what I ran into often was just people who hadn't been around different minorities or hadn't been around black folks, and their only outside of me, their only knowledge of what the black experience looks like is from TVs or movies, or what they've heard on a news clip or whatever else. So I ran into a lot of people who just didn't know, and a lot of ignorance here. Not a lot of racism. However, when I lived in Missouri, it was a totally different story.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little racism.
Yeah.
We went to this place for Zoli's. There was a guy in front of me who kept looking back at me and was looking like real weird. And then my friend Daniel was like, "Oh man, that guy had a KKK shirt on." I was like, "Well, that explains the bad looks."
Wow.
He's probably not buying my breadsticks. But yeah, all that to say is I didn't really, it wasn't like necessarily heavy racism, especially here at Capitol. I never experienced anything like that. It was every now and then you'd meet people who, if they hadn't been exposed to a like black culture or anything like that, they just would assume something about you, or say something that was a little bit off. But for the most part, in this area, no. And growing up in it, I didn't really recognize it, didn't really see it too much. As I got older, there'd be experiences I had where there was things that weren't right. I remember I went to a Berean bookstore one time, and when I went in there, I had my backpack. And as soon as I got in, the lady stopped me real rudely and was like, "Hey, you need to take your backpack off. No backpacks in the store." I'm like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, none in the store." So like I'm looking, I put my backpack down, then I see a lady and she has a bag, right? And it's a pretty good sized bag. And I'm like, okay, well that's weird. Then I see another woman who has a backpack, and it's like she took it like Tahoe camping. It was this massive backpack just walking around and looking at it. And I was like, wait a second. So then I'm getting mad. I'm getting hot. And so I go and I talk to that lady. I'm like, well, hey, okay, you told me there's no bags in the store, no backpacks in the store. She's like, yeah, true, it's here on the sign. I'm like, well, what about this lady and that lady? They both have their bags. And now I'm getting a little bit mad at her. We're going back and forth. Well, her manager comes over and is trying to like make the situation better. And she's like, oh, well, yeah, we actually implemented this rule because a few weeks ago, a guy came in here with a backpack and he stole a lot of Kirk Franklin CDs. I'm like, okay, wait a second. Okay, so a dude comes in and steals some gospel CDs, so now you see me with the bag. I'm like, that doesn't make it worse. You should have, I don't know what to do. So I filed a complaint with them, and just, it was ridiculous. So I've encountered a little bit of that, but I don't know. I think what happens is like conversations like this need to happen. One of the things that you and Pastor Sam have done for weeks is you guys have had these conversations. But, you're doing that on video. These are conversations that you guys have had for years.
Yeah, for sure.
For a long time. I think that's what it's about. Like if you have an opinion, or if you think something about a certain race or certain group of people, but you don't have any experience with those people, or you don't you haven't sat and talked to find out what their life experience or what their journey was like, we're not going to be able to move forward, So things like this, conversation, honest talks with people that you know and trust, I think this is the starting. This is how it starts.
Yeah. You have 3 boys.
Yes.
What do you think about in respect to them going forward, just in the seasons that we're in, or what's happening in our country? Do you think about that in relationship to them?
Definitely. Me and my wife, I'm in an interracial relationship. My wife is white. So my kids being multiracial, I think what happens is, for them, it's, it's just mom and dad. But a lot of times in society, kids and people aren't defined by, like what race their parents are. It's more so what they look like. So if my kids look more black, then they'll be defined. Everyone will look who doesn't know anything about them will say, oh, well, that's a black kid. Right now, with my 3 kids, is the oldest and the youngest, they look black, and my middle son looks very white. You know, yeah. Like I've taken him to stores before, and people have asked me, "Is he his? Is he yours?" Right? I'm like, "No, I just stole this white baby. What do you think?" Right? of course he's mine. I'm like, what do you? I'm stealing the kid. So no.
Funny.
So like, what I think about is I worry about them, and like, how are they gonna find their place? Like, are they gonna feel like they fit in? Is society will society, accept them? I think in the church, especially, at a place like Capitol, we are very inclusive, and we protect, we're very intentional about protecting our diversity. So places like this, I feel very safe with my kids.
Yeah.
But going forward, especially with the racial height and climate that we live in, I worry a little bit about them in the future. So
Yeah. I appreciate you being you. Like, it seems like you don't carry a chip on your shoulder in that kind of a way, yet you're real. And like, these issues are real, and we shouldn't avoid whatever's real in our life. And you help us to learn and appreciate the challenges of the journey. And we can learn from each other how we can unite to make this a better world, and to advocate for people who maybe don't have anybody advocating for them. I know that's a big part of our heart, and you do that. The children's ministry has kids coming from all over. They're families that are in seasons of challenge, parents that have separated, and children that are suffering some of those kind of challenges. And here they come, innocent, really filled with all kinds of energy, and yet probably hurts too in their life. And you have a opportunity, a mission really, to try to love on them. Do you see that quite a bit now in kids that are coming?
No, definitely. With the kids that come, there are a lot of kids that come either from. Actually, let me go back a little bit. One of the cool things about Capitol is the diversity, not just with race, but even with socio-economical diversity.
Right.
So we have kids that come from very affluent areas, and then we have kids that come from poor areas. And when they come in together on Sunday mornings, everybody is treated the same. And I think the thing that unites all of those kids and unites all of us in general is Christ and that hope that we have in Him. So when these kids come in with issues and problems of the week, what I try and do on Sunday mornings and across the board in all of our rooms is I want to make it fun. I want to make it light. I want it to be an escape. I want it to be something that kids look forward to. And then I also want to make sure that they are hearing the message or experiencing Christ, because the hope that we have in Christ, that's what's going to get them through the week. That's what's going to make a difference in their schools and in their families. And honestly, that's the reason why we're sitting here today, because of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're believing that the doors will keep opening to get people
I hope
back.
so.
We're having probably quite a few more questions now about when will we have, on Sundays we can have 100 people in the service. We haven't had the opportunity to open up for children yet. It's still actually part of the restrictions of the county. I know you're dialoguing with the county, trying to make sure what we can and can't do. So as soon as we get the green light, it sounds like you're getting ready to do what we can to care for kids in our phasing of getting people back in the building.
Yeah. Once, after we had the ice cream drive-through, and just hearing parents' heart about, wanting a break and wanting something for their kids, we started being proactive and, having little meetings and talking about what we could do to, what we're going to do when we reopen. And is there anything that we can do within the guidelines to reopen now? One of the issues that we see, and you've looked at the paperwork, is the way they word things with the children's. It's like there's two sentences and they contradict each other. It's like one says no children's activities at all, and then right underneath it says, well, they're shut down all the children's areas except for the places where you can social distance with 6 feet. I'm like, well, why not just say no children's at all or social distance? So we're calling. My wife actually called the county yesterday to try and get some clarity, and because of Columbus Day, nobody was there.
Okay.
So we're calling again, we're working, and if we can do anything within the guidelines, if the county says, hey, you know what, you guys can do it, you need a social distance, and they kind of give us a guideline of what to do, we will be open right away as soon as we find out what's up. In the meantime, We're going to be creative. We're still going to put videos out on our YouTube channel. We're going to host events like this drive-through event and look to do some more special events in November and December, family and kid friendly, so that we can have that community and connect with each other until the day when we can all be together on Sunday, which, both of us are waiting for.
Aren't we, though?
In anticipation.
Can't wait, man. I'm assuming everybody watching is as well excited about that. So we keep praying into that and doing our best. There's still ways to serve, even in the middle of the restrictions that we have. We have been creative. You have been creative. And anything that can be done will be done as we gain insight in those kind of opportunities. So we just appeal to you to stay connected. This is our Capital family. Like, we're in this for life, and we care about you. We care about the children that are in our community, in our church, and we're going to come out of this with incredible opportunities ahead of us. I really believe we're going to be better. Adversity makes us stronger, and we're in the midst of lots of adversity, so we can't help but get stronger. We come out of this, and we'll see, the things that God wants to do, I believe, are going to be quite miraculous. So stay tuned in, stay plugged in. We appreciate you being a part of our conversation today. You have any other parting word?
Just one, don't forget Halloween Drive Thru this weekend, Halloween Drive Thru October 31st. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. It's going to be here from 4 to 6. It's totally free. We're giving a couple of giveaways. We have a huge Minecraft theme, which kids go crazy for right now. We're giving away Minecraft gift cards, Roblox gift cards, Chick-fil-A gift cards as well. It's just a cool way of being able to connect and also to stay safe. We understand that COVID is out there, and if you don't want to risk going door to door for Halloween, we have an alternative for you guys here. So I'd love to see you guys at it this, this Halloween season.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part. We'll see you soon. Sunday's coming. Looking forward to being together. 100 people can come. Just register early. Hopefully we'll get into that next phase and we'll add another 100 to that. So keep praying into that too. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
It may